The DESE requirements: middle schools must provide students with information about CTE programs and careers by October 15th through multiple channels: on-site presentation, mail, email, the website. At Douglas Middle School, this includes posting on the counseling website, communication with career technical education schools, and individual classroom conversation with students. Schools continue to release names and addresses of 7th and 8th grade students to CTE schools by October 15th, unless families opt out. All sending middle schools must develop and maintain a pathway exploration policy, which you have in front of you. This outlines the collaboration between the CTE and other high schools to inform students of their opportunities, how students can tour CTE schools during school hours, transportation provided by hosting schools, and absences excused if confirmed by the CTE school. We were told that the parents can transport the child, that they would not be running out buses this year for us. So if students are interested this year for that school across from Nipmunk, they have to charter themselves. And then connection to academic and career planning programs like MyCap. As Superintendent Riera stated, the policy was due by November 1st, but having 3 readings, we pushed back that we got an extension for that time. The policy must be posted on the district website and written copies provided to families upon request. DESE provides CTE modules to meet awareness requirements, which we share with students and families via the counseling website. And a model policy template is available on the DESE website. So we looked at the modeling template, we went to see what other schools were doing, and we saw what worked or what would work in Douglas for our students. The takeaway message is this policy ensures all students have equitable access to career and pathway information, fosters collaboration with CTE programs, and supports students in making informed decisions about their high school experience and future careers. So, as you can see in front of you, it's a pretty in-depth program that we created for this exploration, and different grades 6, 7, and 8 through MyCap have different pathways that they will do to be aware of all the opportunities that exist for them.
Anybody have any questions? It's a pretty thorough document. I appreciate the time, and I understand the reason why we had to apply for an extension. So to you and your staff, kudos, because it's pretty extensive when I read through it. It's all encompassing, and it kind of lays out for the child as they go through and pick and choose, right, where they want to land. And so kudos again, because I know that wasn't easy to put that together. So.
We have a phenomenal guidance department. They work hard, and I'm glad that they can produce something that seems digestible to the average parent.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
This is fantastic, and thank you and your staff for everything. I'm just wondering, and obviously probably not on this document, but I want to, being at Douglas High, yes, this is about the pathways, but being part of Douglas isn't just being part of the academics, it's being part of the sports, it's being part of the band, it's being part of all of that. So obviously I know that's not this policy, but I'm just wondering if we could get a handle in some of this, this is important, this skill is important because this helps you become a great musician, or
Opportunities.
yeah, how can
Showcase our
So
opportunities.
I'll let Bob, so this was dictated, mandated,
Yep.
template by the state that we had to do. To your point, why don't you talk a little bit to your level of comfort about MyCap and what your department's doing with kids to talk about and creating those connections with sports and courses they take, and if you're going to do band and how that all fits into a career pathway.
And I
Is it-
apologize, because I know that wasn't on here, but I've just been
That's
really
okay.
wondering, like,
You can hit the curveball.
why are kids leaving the district? Like, I want to know why, what opportunities or what things that they don't feel they have here that we're missing. Because it's easy for us to say, like, oh, well, you know, they just want to go to BVT for this, or they just want to go here for that, but did they leave because they didn't feel supported in the school? Did they leave because they didn't have the sports team that they wanted? Like, what happened?
So,
Oh, sorry, Mr.
no, that's
O'Brien.
quite okay. We're hitting a point that we'll just jump to that point right now. We're really trying to build that middle school, high school connection, but as well as building that community framework. That's important. I think that's what makes Douglas special. I was in the cafeteria today, and I was just looking at the kids and like, got some really nice kids. There's just no one malicious there. So you want to do right by them. The middle school, it is tough with transportation, having after-school activities, and getting parents to do transport them back and forth from school. But we are looking at other programs and things at night, and starting the National Junior Honor Society, and what can we do with the high school. And we have the wrestling coach coming down later in October to discuss the wrestling program, the co-op that we have. The athletic director from the high school works very well with the middle school, letting them know, and we always have the band down to perform, and color guard to really build up that interest. It is challenging when you're talking with 12 and 13-year-olds to see for that. And it's challenging for families to get out at night as well. But this year, we're trying to do a nightly opportunity for families once a month for them to come out with. We had a couple already this year. But really build that where they can come to the school during the school day and see what's going on, and then some opportunities at night in case people can't get there for work. But definitely delivering that message that Douglas has a lot of opportunities that you might not be aware of. And we have a committee right now formed to build those connections. And we'll be hitting that a little bit later. But it is, yeah, how do you make sure that they stay? I think, I know that dealing with students that if it's free, they don't take advantage of it. But if you charge money, they think it's special. 25 years ago, trying to get students to participate in, I worked in a district where there was 2 middle schools, 1 high school. Trying to get them to show up was very difficult over the summer. We charged them $5, and they showed up. So I think that they were chosen by a vocational school has a lot to do with it, that it's that status. I was chosen, I was accepted. I think maybe going to a lottery now, that's a fair system, takes a little bit of that shine off of it, so to say. And I think kids also, I've been with these same kids since kindergarten. I want to try something different, something new.
Yeah.
But it is also, what I've seen as early as 6th grade is a lot of these students come from families where their parents, both parents graduated from a vocational school, which is almost instilled in them that this would be the best choice for you. So you better behave now, because it's for real.
Yeah. All good points.
And this is a perfect segue into our middle school improvement plan and family engagement plan for the middle school.
Thank you, Dr. Vieira. What about goals? And of course, you see it across, and I'll try not just to read off the paper, but academic excellence, we're looking for student growth of 65%. Last year, we looked for 60%. This year, we raised the bar to 65%. I don't think we can go, you can't go 0 to 100. And we try to make reasonable goals. But I think the numbers are strong, and what we have done to create the opportunity for students to reach that achievement, working with staff, I think that's very doable. Student growth percentile of that. I was working on a document today, and I got an email from the superintendent saying, compare the STAR data with the MCAS data. I was so happy because I was already doing that, and it was right in front of me. So there is a lot of difference between what the STAR data suggests where the students' growth is and what the MCAS says, up to a 13-point switch either way, up or down. So it doesn't come across. One grade, it came out just about the same, but it's tough that the STAR data is so much different than the MCAS data. I ran a report comparing Douglas Middle School's MCAS scores to the rest of the valley, and I thought they gave us a much truer line compared to the state. I believe in 3 schools we were first or second on the MCAS scores. So that felt really fulfilling. And that was actually vocalized, that was one of our goals, taken from Jack Welch, the CEO of General Electric. We're either first or second in what we're doing, or we're not going to do it at all, when he took over General Electric. So to see us make that goal of being first or second and achieve it, we're very proud of that. So now we're looking at 65. Again, we are mastering our individual student success plans. That was a challenge. I know I did not communicate that clearly enough to the staff, and in my attempts to clarify that, I think I added more confusion, and I had to address it each grade level differently. I know when you're talking, people often just think back, what does this mean for me? And they get a little distracted. So we have a much stronger handle on building the ISSPs this year than in years previous. And things like that do take time and practice. We have a new curriculum, EB Academics for ELA and EdGems for math. We tried I was mentioning the last meeting where I was here, and I apologize for my absence last meeting. We used HMH, and it did not work for Douglas. It might be a great program somewhere else. It did not work for us. The staff member that was the most diligent in keeping with fidelity to that program, it proved that that was not the right fit for us. With EdGems and with EB Academics, these are both curriculum that teachers are very excited to use and have been using. So they get that buy-in from staff that this is what they picked, that they will use it, and they're excited to use it. Makes it very, feel like he did the right thing. And we have a multi-tiered system of supports. We did the program before. You saw that the last meeting I was at about our SEL survey. A big thing is making sure the students understand the words that the SEL program use. So that is done so we take the SEL survey, we go through the results, our guidance team comes up with the lesson plans for the SEL that we think that they need. That's delivered through the related arts teachers once every 7-day block. And then when we do the survey again in January, we'll see where we have to readdress those issues, where we go. We also embedded a win block this year that I'm very excited about. That's off and running, and you'll see students moving between different win opportunities of what they will be learning, making connections with other subject areas in their grade level curriculum, and also students that need some support, some of those tier 2 teachers, they have an opportunity to get that. Students that are struggling will be able to meet with those teachers at that time during win block, and students that are crushing it will be challenged even further, and then students will have different options of, well, they're told what their option is, but different classes that they'll have a chance to attend that integrates what they're learning in their ELA math class and see how it works. How does math work with music? Quarter notes, half notes, and fractions, and just seeing where it all fits together. Big part of that too was making sure that the language that EB academics use in instructing on writing is used by all grade level teachers, so they're getting the same message and history as what they're saying in ELA. Science is a little different because it's a science language, but we are trying to make that universal across grades 6, 7, and 8, and across all subject areas.
A quick question.
I'm sorry.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course you can.
How is this, have you gotten any feedback from the staff about like how, I just think about like Jess Finley and some of our other teachers that do a lot of hands-on, like a lot of very interactive stuff. Like how do they feel this curriculum kind of put some fun into the days, and do they feel like that's good for that? Do they feel like they need, like, kind of like?
I'd say it is a mixed bag of they're comfortable or their level of comfort with it. We all know that Ms. Finley is just a phenomenal teacher.
And you have other phenomenal teachers that do that stuff.
Yep.
I just think about my
So
kid
I
running
don't want
around.
them to think that they have to read from a transcript of how they're going to teach. I want them to bring their own magic, their own flavor to the class. I would hate to have Mr. O'Brien as my teacher in every class every day. You need to mix it up. So they can absolutely bring in what they think would enhance the lesson, and just in the pacing of it. I was having a conversation with Ms. Finley that you have to teach fractions before you teach ratios. And in our scope and sequence, the textbook started with ratios first, and I agreed with her. So they still have that flexibility to change that. But we also want to make sure that they're learning the terminology the same. So when they leave from 6th, 7th to 8th, and as it's consistent. And what I've found at Douglas is a lot like other schools is so much institutional knowledge that when a staff member leaves, we're just hoping to find that magic again. So we want to make sure that everything is from our separate programs, sub-separate programs, all the way to advanced algebra. We want to make sure that that's written down so a person can come in day one and be successful. But I would hate for any teacher to lose their own personality and their own gut feeling, especially with a proven track record of success, that they don't have that ability to add to the curriculum what they're learning.
Oh, that's helpful, thank you, because I think, you know, obviously we want the test scores to be good, we want all of that stuff to be good, but we want people to want to come to school. Like, I want the kids to want to come to school, I want the teachers to want to come and teach, and so, like, especially in middle school, like, that's, like, it's so much harder, in my experience with what I've seen, to engage them at that age, that we really need to make, middle school needs to be fun. Like, it needs to be a serious place and it needs to be a learning place, but it needs to be a fun place.
You have to have that hook, which gets the students interested in it. You got to be a salesperson. It's performance art at its finest, being in front of 28 students that might not want to learn fractions or ratios. So I don't want to take the artist away from the science of pedagogy.
Great.
Did that?
Yes,
Was that-
it did. Sometimes I get stuck in like the curriculum fidelity and doing all that stuff that like I don't want us to take away from like these are real people and real kids and real teachers and like they need to have fun.
Right, and you have to have that ability to learn when's a teachable moment and jump off the curriculum to go through.
Creativity
And that
has
could
to
be an SEL process, it could be something else. But to let them know they have the ability and to trust their professionals to do that.
Agreed.
Moving towards community partnerships. Again, 5 through 8, we're looking to create more opportunities for the community to be involved. We have already some programs that parents have already been to. And like I said, we'll be growing that monthly, at least one opportunity. It's tough to, everybody wants to do the end of the year when they can show off the best, but we're having the 3 art shows, one for each season. We're having a Red Robin night as just bring the community together, as you were saying. It's quote-unquote a fundraiser, but it's more about just giving everybody a chance to, see somebody at dinner. We got a National Junior Honor Society induction coming up. At the end of the year, we'll have a civics. They have a civics project that's mandated by the state, but they do a great job, and I want to bring the families in to see the work that they do. We have our Student of the Month breakfast still. We have our community meetings still. It was nice seeing the parents come because we introduced the NJA, National Junior Honor Society, to the school to recognize them. And we invited families to attend as well. So besides the official ceremony, they were recognized in front of their peers to say, oh, okay, I want to aim for that. We just want to build off of that. Lit circles are going up again, I think tomorrow. We're starting a new literature circles. I did get some feedback from community. We invited in some community members to see if they show up. A little nervous to come in, but I said just come in and we'll watch. You can just watch and see how that goes. Another opportunity, and that the feedback from the students on the books that they read will have opportunities to read. Very low risk to it. Hey, here's a book. And that was sponsored through a Blackstone Valley Educational Foundation grant, so I like to appreciate them. The well-being of all, it goes back to our SEL program, and at a minimum of 4 times a year, we're working on the individual student success plans. Like I said, we've made a lot of progress on that. The WIN block is noticed on that, so you're going to see that SEL survey, WIN block, ISSPs, MTSS. It's woven throughout the culture of the middle school now. And lastly, instructional leadership. I'm in the second year of a 2-year plan to do 1,000 classroom visits. Almost reached 500 last year, was cut a little bit short. So hopefully I'll be at 1,000 by the end of this year. Big thing too that we're looking at is adjustment to practice and self-reflection for the teachers. All right, I taught that class, how did it go? How could it be better? Same thing with myself. How did it go? What can I do better? How can I communicate this more clearly? And that was a conversation at our last faculty meeting. You got to be honest enough to beat yourself up a little bit. And lastly, I'll touch on, we have bi-weekly meetings with, or bi-monthly meetings with all 3 ELA teachers and all 3 math teachers as we work with this new curriculum and see how it's going, so they have an opportunity to discuss with each other. We did arrange the schedule so they would have the same prep time. So twice a month we meet, take notes, see how it's going, share best practices with each other, and then revisit it, come back and see how we're doing.
I think Bob weaved in the family engagement and his school improvement plan into one.
Yep.
And you also see in front of you the DMS-DHS collaboration, or it's on a hyperlink there for you. Mr. Ringette was kind enough to join us for our kickoff when the 5th graders move up for 6th grade before the first week of school, to introduce himself, the high school, the offerings that they have. That was completed. We had open house this year. We had the high school guidance counselors down there showing the community what do we have at the high school as well. And we'll keep on making those connections throughout the year, and that's written down. We've put together a committee enclosed of an administrator from each building, 2 students rep and 4 counselors, and this can be done during our wind block, an opportunity for that to happen. And as we go through it, just get the feedback from the students, what do they like, what do they don't like, what do we like to change?
Any questions?
Good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And for now, that's all I have.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Moving to the school committee and subcommittee accounts payable report, Becky DeMarco did approve the 2 warrants, so I will do that for her. I did review them too as well. Warrant number 12 SCH 26 and 12 SCHL 26. There were 12 batches in the amount of $186,987.60. There was nothing out of the ordinary on that one. Next one was warrant 13 SCH 26 and warrant 13 SCHL 26. There are 9 batches in the amount of $73,999.09, and nothing out of the ordinary was noted. Moving on to our consent agenda, the October 1st meeting minutes. No one has any issues with those? I'll be looking for a motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Becky, seconded by Meg. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Or a little giggle for the night. Next is the Mohammed versus Taylor handbook changes and procedures for handling curriculum opt-out requests.
All right, so continuing our theme of legalese and things we have to do. In June of 2025, the Supreme Court issued a ruling in this case, which held that parents have the right to opt their children out of required instructional content that violates their sincerely held religious beliefs. So what does that mean in plain and everyday language? If a parent has an objection to something that we're teaching and they can tie it to a religious belief, then it's incumbent upon the parent to communicate with the principal what the issue is, and then we have an opt-out policy procedure that they would have to go through in order to be opted out of a particular lesson, a particular unit, a particular page in a book for it. And this went all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court for it. So I worked with our legal counsel for it, and then in front of you, you have the handbook language that Mark has suggested that we adopt, and then behind it is basically the procedure that our law firm put together that they're handing out to their school districts, that if a parent finds something objectionable, how they have to communicate it to the schools, the process they go through communicating with the schools, and then what the staff members have to do. One of the nuances of it is it's incumbent upon the parent to know what we teach and when we teach it. It's not incumbent upon the district to share every day what we're doing with students inside the classrooms. This is another reason why we posted everything on Rubicon Atlas on our website. So everything's posted on the website for parents to look at. So if someone comes across something and they object because of their sincerely religious beliefs, they have to communicate that with the schools, and then we'll go through our protocol for how they could potentially opt out of that lesson.
Any discussion?
So I guess my only follow-up question is, I don't love the idea of parents having to like prove what is within their religion, because we have freedom of religion, so it can, I don't know what people, people believe all different things.
Correct.
So I guess like how much detail is required in this?
That's a case by, it depends on what your religion is. It depends on which sect it is. This hasn't been challenged yet in the Commonwealth.
Okay.
So we don't know the depth of it, but the way the law reads from the, again, this isn't local, this isn't state, this is federal Supreme Court.
Right.
And it's incumbent upon a family to do it. this goes back to, you can think back a little bit of what happened with COVID, and people exempted out of having to be vaccinated for their religious beliefs. So there are groups out there that are trying to push, and this isn't just in Massachusetts, this is across the
yeah.
U.S. There are groups out there that are trying to push to see where that line is. Hasn't happened here in Massachusetts as to where your religion is, but the advice we got from our attorney is that if someone comes to you with a religious belief, they have to state what the religious belief is and why what we're teaching goes against that religious belief. Then he said, call me, and we'll go through it.
Yeah, I would be worried about challenging that because we have freedom of religion and they are the parents. So I would hope that our school district is pretty open so that we don't end up in any legal.
If I may, I mean, so I'm the standing member from COVID, right? And so I think we were very accommodating of the parents. So I would trust that the administration is going to do their due diligence. If a parent comes and says, this is my religious belief, we're not going to, violate their religious belief, right? So it would be, the child would be exempt from that section of that teaching, wouldn't be responsible for knowing that material on a test, right? But they would still be able to pick up, I'm assuming the opt-out is they go down to the principal or they do something else during that block where it's being taught. So, I mean, it's kind of like the mask thing, right? You either came to school or you didn't come to school, right? And so we survived that. I trust the administration.